Hey dolls, it's Sandra. Today we're taking a look at Ken from the BMR1959 line. This is from wave 2. There were only 2 waves in this series before it was cancelled. And in the first wave we had 2 Kens, in the second we only have this guy. So if you didn't know, the BMR1959 line is actually named after Barbara Millicent Roberts and 1959, which was the year that she debuted. This entire line was designed by Carlisle New Era and takes on a contemporary approach to streetwear. So you'll see a lot of bright colors, clashing patterns, that sort of thing. And it's really bold and really loud, so you might find it garish depending on your preferences. Personally, it's not quite my thing, but I can definitely appreciate where it was coming from, and I think that Carlisle New Era kind of nailed what he was going after. This line is what I like to call collector plain line because it threads the plain line collector line, and we can see that because it's dubbed a collector doll. It's not quite as fancy. I don't know if that's the best way to describe it, but it's a little bit more affordable, a little bit more accessible, and not that far off from playline quality, but it still has better materials, obviously better design, stuff like that would be the hallmarks of a collector doll. And we get this little paper certificate, which is not numbered because it is a black label doll, which is sort of like the entry level into collector line for Barbie. In contrast to those bold and loud colors I mentioned before, we have this very plain packaging that sticks with the streetwear sort of feel because it is like a sneaker box. There's not much to see really. It really is just kind of a shoe box. They have this fashion sketch on the front and Carlisle's signature up here, which is kind of cool. When you open it up, we even have this like tissue paper for BMR 1959. It's to really sell it on the shoebox feel. And we have this bright insert, which in my case is purple, very complementary to the colors on my doll. Each doll in this series comes with a stand, as do collector dolls typically. This is a special sculpt for the lion that says BMR 1959, and it's just plain black. It's a pretty good stand. It's sturdy and it clips at the waist. It's still about the same size as the base of a regular circular stand from Barbie. Here's a closer look at his shoes. They are halfway between a sneaker and a sandal. So these are pretty cool. I don't think we've seen this sculpt before, but don't quote me on that because there are a shit ton of Ken dolls and I don't know all the sculpts for their shoes. I haven't personally seen this sculpt before. It's quite detailed really. It's sort of ridging over here, so it's not just a smooth oval. So it adds a bit of a geometric feel to it, a bit more modern and street. And then we see these sort of tooth-like shapes on the sides, and then the straps themselves have a lot of texture, and you see this sneaker looking front with the molded on laces and a similar thing mirroring on the side. And even on his soles we have this textured grip and Ken on the bottom. These are a really cool crisp pair of footwear. This is the pop of color for this doll. It's this really bright and vibrant, very saturated yellow. It's made from this thin material that's stretchy. Typically I would prefer a thicker, more luxe feeling material, but I think in this instance it might have been a good choice because it gives it a little bit more mobility and flexibility to work with. We're talking about streetwear, like athleisure. You kind of want that movement to be a little bit more effective. I don't know whether that was by design or if it was a budget thing, but I'm alright with it. It's not too thin where it's sheer or see-through. It's just really thin. Here's that slit all the way up to his thigh. The slits are on the side, and I really like this cut in silhouette actually. It's quite refreshing, and it is something that I really like, and I prefer them being on the side to being on the front, like that rainbow high doll that just came out, or shadow high. I don't know, it just kind of reminds me of the Clydesdale horse when it's up in the front instead of to the side. I think this is pretty stylish. You can play around with how much you want to expose his leg. I think this is actually a good height to have this slit at. No higher and no lower, because if it were any lower it'd be a little bit boring. If it were a little bit higher it'd be a little bit man-slutty. Then we have this ribbon detailing that has BMR1959 nicely printed all the way up, and it stops just before the garter. So this is like an elastic waistband situation. That's what it looks like on the back. Not super glamorous. These are meant to be joggers. It's not super dressy or anything. They've stitched his top to the bottom with just a singular thread, so you can cut that off really easily, but I've just kept mine on. I believe that's probably to keep his shirt down while he's being moved around in the box. And he does come with this fanny pack, which is very adjustable. There are lots of holes here, so you can adjust it and really customize it for styling, which I appreciate. You can do the obvious thing and have it as a fanny pack here, or you can even have it as a crossbody bag. I've tried that, it works because of how customizable the width is, so that's fun. And bonus feature, you might be able to wear it as a bracelet, so that's fun. I just discovered this today, and I don't know, it makes me kind of happy. Kind of want to wear this out. This is super flexible plastic. It's got this sort of thread detailing all along the band. It really adds to the depth. It would have been kind of plain if we didn't have this molded on stitching. In the center we have this BMR 1959 in a rainbow font. It's just hard, solid plastic. Don't think it's hollow. It is not functional. It's just a piece of plastic. A little bit of a zipper detailing sculpted in, which just sells the fact that this is a fanny pack even more. He also comes with this visor. This is nice. It's translucent and it's got BMR 1959 on it. I like the white and blue, and it's pretty easy to get on his head and secure when you get it on. His hoodie is made of a really nice material. It's this thick cottony fabric that's got a little bit of give to it. It's a little bit stretchy. It's really nice. It feels like something that you would find on an actual shirt. It's hemmed and finished. It's a split black and white on the front, and then on the back it's just black save for the sleeve, and it's got this functional hoodie which I really like. I'll show you that in a little bit. BMR 1959 is printed or ironed on over here, and I'm not too sure about the durability of that, but here's a closer look at the texture and how it feels. If anyone is familiar with this sort of execution for graphics on fabric, please let us know in the comments. If you have any information on it, I always just try to be cautious when it comes to those things in general. And in case you were wondering, this feels like two separate pieces that were stitched together. You can feel this slight dip in the center here, so it doesn't feel like a singular piece, which is kind of cool. I like how they did his neckline. Some hoodies look kind of goofy, and if I put the hoodie up, it is a really nice fit and it stays on, and it's flattering too. This is the first time that we've seen the Tate face sculpt. There are others now, but this was the first time that it was released. This doll was released in 2020. The face sculpt imprint on the back says 2019, so that was probably when they started manufacturing him. A little fun fact, this face sculpt is named after Carlisle Newera himself. He named it after his middle name. His middle name is Tate. This is one of my favorite Ken sculpts. He's got dimples. Well, it's not my favorite because he has dimples, but I'm just pointing that out. So this particular screening has freckles all over his face, mostly concentrated in this general area. The freckles seem to be done pretty well. Some that are a little bit less saturated, so it gives it a bit more of a realistic feel. They do kind of seem a little bit sporadic. Some people were complaining about pixelation on him. Mine, at least, he looks okay. It is still that printed on screening, but he looks fine to me. This particular Ken has 2 earrings, which are pretty cool. You don't really see that on Kens that often. I don't know if they're removable, and frankly, I'm scared to try. His earrings are like a faux hoop earring. His ears are so small, there's no way you can pierce it through the back as well. They come around in a circle like that. Personally, I've never liked mullets, but I feel like he pulls it off pretty well, and he is convincing me that mullets can be done well. I don't know what he's doing to me. The mullet and shaved sides, which are just painted, not flocked. And I really appreciate that he's got 2, maybe 3 different colors in his hair. Really nice blend, and his hair has some curl to it on the ends. Even though there's product in it, it doesn't feel rock hard, so that's nice. Like, you can still sort of pet him, I guess, and it still feels fine, but it seems to be holding its shape. He has the made to move body, so he's got his ankle articulation, his double knee joints. He's articulated in the hip, the double elbow joints and wrist joint, shoulder, and his head can move around up and down and left and right. My final thoughts on this doll. It's a really good buy. I mean, I believe that it hit the brief on what it set out to do, which is present this modern look into streetwear, being fun and fresh, and at the same time it gives you quite a bit of value for money. It's supposed to be that weird collector playline area at $30, and I think it does that very well. With the budget it has managed to provide quite a great deal of playability, but also displayability. So what I mean by that is that he's got this fantastic articulation, which allows you to pose and play with him in just about any way you want. He's got quite a few removable pieces, like this really nice thick hoodie and this nicely detailed. He's got those really cool shoe sandals. I don't think we've seen them before. And then he also comes with a couple of accessories so you can work around styling him in different ways. He comes with a stand to be displayed better, and again, with that posing, it helps how you want to display him. And he is a gorgeous base doll, so even if this outfit or this style isn't your thing, you can still redress him into different things, and I think he would be able to carry them pretty well. The base doll is a large reason why I purchased him. Like I mentioned, I really love this sculpt, and I think that in this particular style it is quite striking, with the red hair and the blue eyes, pale skin, freckles and dimples. It's quite a bit going on, and it's pretty unique. It's a unique combination of things. They put good effort into the hair as well. It's quite dimensional and styled well, and it's not every day you see a doll with a mullet, so that's pretty cool. Meets the hallmarks of being a collector doll in the sense that his pieces are of quality. We see that he was designed well. In production, those design choices went through, and we have, again, like I mentioned, like nice fabric materials and like a nice slit and ribboning that are done well. I think he is worth the money. He retails at $30, and I think that's fair. That's a fair asking price for a doll of this quality and this versatility, and bringing us these new pieces that we haven't seen before. Also, I enjoy boxes like the packaging that he came in because I get to use them as risers, so that's a bonus point. He's probably also the most subdued from the BMR1959 line, and perhaps that's why I got him. Well, aside from the fact that he's a gorgeous base doll. If you want a little taste of the 1959 line, but you're not a big fan of bright colors and bold prints, he might be a good introduction to that, as well as Barbie's collector line in general, him being a black label doll. Initially, I did think that I was going to dye his pants black just to match with the black and white, so he would be purely black and white from head to toe, or more like from shoulder to toe. But I don't know, this yellow is kind of growing on me, and it's pretty unique, which I think is partially the point of the BMR 1959 line. So for now, I think I'll keep him like this. I hope you guys found that interesting or informative. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.